So, folks, it's that time of year. You know, we're going to start getting movie nominations, top 10 lists, awards, all this kind of stuff, Golden Globes, Oscars, and, of course, the Anti-Semitism Awards coming up at the end of the year. It's that time of year, says Stop Anti-Semitism. 2025 Anti-Semite of the Year. Vote for your top 3 candidates by Friday, December 12th. So these are the nominees for Anti-Semite of the Year 2025. Tucker Carlson, Miss Rachel, Guy Christensen, Marcia Cross, Bryce Mitchell, Cynthia Nixon, Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian. Oh, wow. Both Young Turks host guy. Stu Peters and Kala Walsh.
I mean, this is kind of insulting, man. I mean, this guy Christensen, he's been around for fucking 10 minutes.
I know.
We're not on there.
Yeah, he's a newbie.
We're not on there. We're doing this for years.
I know. It's very, very disrespectful. So Guy Christensen tweets out, looks like we made it. I'm a finalist in the running for Anti-Semite of the Year 2025. I'll let you guys know how to vote for me as soon as I figure it out. We really made a difference this year. Free Palestine and fuck Israel.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I mean, we were kidding, but in all seriousness, it seems like they avoided Jewish critics.
Yeah, I don't think it's easy for Jews to get on.
Yeah.
No, they don't really put Jews on because that would kind of look ridiculous. Not that this doesn't look ridiculous, but that would make it look even more ridiculous.
Like none of those people that they fucking viciously hate.
Exactly. Well, there's even dumber criteria that they use, which we'll get to in a moment, because there are also some other very notable names absent from this list for reasons that they will explain.
Yes.
So Kala Walsh, who's featured in the bottom right there with the circle, I am incredibly honored to have enraged Zion Nazis enough to make it as one of the top 10 finalists for Stop Anti-Semitism's Anti-Semite of the Year 2025. Please vote for me in the ranked choice voting to ensure my victory. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Good one, Kala Walsh. Now, Miss Rachel, you know, she's a children's entertainer, folks. She's not as sarcastic and sassy as Guy Christensen and Kala Walsh. Miss Rachel, you know, reminds us wanting kids to live isn't anti-Semitic. That's right. See, she's sweet. She's nice. She's sincere. So SZade15 says Miss Rachel is an anti-Semite because she thinks Palestinian kids have the right to live. Apparently, that's where the line is now. Exactly. They're calling Miss Rachel an anti-Semite for saying children dying are bad. And they act surprised why their reputation is down the fucking gutter. Most hateful group of people I've ever seen. Exactly. Like, you're going to nominate Ms. Rachel for Anti-Semite of the Year? For what? Rokana, Ms. Rachel is a preschool teacher who speaks up for starving children in Gaza. That is not anti-Semitism. I hope thousands will join me in standing up for her. Yeah, this is what Miss Rachel does to get nominated for Anti-Semite of the Year. Here she is accepting her Glamour Magazine Woman of the Year award, wearing the art of children in Gaza.
I am wearing this beautiful dress that has art from kids in Gaza, and these kids are just amazing. They're so thoughtful and so brilliant, and I know all their names and stories: Luna and Ahmed, Rama, Rana. I'm so proud of you. I'm so honored to wear your artwork. Rana made this beautiful drawing. She lost both of her sisters in the genocide. She lost her 9-month-old sister, Haya, in her arms in an airstrike. Her older sister was killed the next month. I want to end with her words because they're more important than mine. Rana wanted to say, I want to tell the world that my sisters are not numbers. They are moons. They are like the stars. They shine and sparkle.
So that's Anti-Semite of the Year. That's what gets you nominated for Anti-Semite of the Year, wearing the artwork of the kids in Gaza. One of the kids should have drawn the Jewish guy, the cartoon there, to give her to wear. That would have been a good troll. This is Muhammad's drawing of the that guy. Yeah.
George Soros with a big dollar sign over it.
George Soros with a foot-long nose. Yeah, that would have been good. But she didn't even go there. You know, she played it very, very clean. Yeah, wearing the artwork of the kids in Gaza, give it a beautiful speech. I mean, like, you have really just jumped the shark so outrageously.
A
And
lot
yeah,
of people are reevaluating the legacy of the Austrian painter, and I think it's time we all do that.
yeah, right, exactly. She could have trolled them that way, but she did not. She did not. And yeah, I mean, what that other tweet said is exactly right. Like, you wonder why your reputation is in the fucking gutter. It's in that, of course. Of course. Like, you're making people if you're telling people that to defend Miss Rachel makes you an anti-Semite, there are a lot of people who are just like not going to play the semantical game with you and try to argue, well, that no, they're going to say, all right, fine, call me whatever you want. I don't care.
Right.
This is obviously a good person and you're obviously a manipulative scumbag. So whatever you want to call me, call me. Fuck you. I'm not going to argue with you over it. Etan Nashin says it says a lot that for a pro-Israel snooper doxing outfits, Hitler-loving anti-Semites like Fuentes aren't even in the top 10. That's right. So Nick Fuentes, not on the list. Nick Fuentes, why wasn't I nominated for anti-Semite of the year? You hurt his feelings. You snubbed him, right? So, sorry, that was a repeat post there. But there was a lot of confusion as to why Nick Fuentes wasn't on the list. What about Candace Owens? Candace Owens not on the list. Well, it turns out Candace Owens is a previous winner. She was last year's winner. And it turns out here, for those questioning why Nick Fuentes wasn't on this year's list, we have been monitoring Nick Fuentes' anti-Semitism since 2019. While he was a finalist a few years back, his absence from this year's cycle does not erase his anti-Semitism. Rather, it allows us to focus attention on other individuals who are spreading hate, i.e., we do not recycle candidates from year to year. So basically, the goal of this is to smear as many people as possible. So once you're on the list, once you're nominated, you can't be nominated ever again. How stupid is that? So because Candace Owens was the winner last year, she can't be a finalist this year. First of all, you know, any sports fan will tell you the idea of like repeat winners and dynasties, that's part of the fun. Like, you got to give somebody a chance to be like the 5-time returning champion anti-Semite of the year, else it's no fun. Right. But also think of how stupid this is. So if your goal here is to shame anti-Semites, then what you've basically said is, because Nick Fuentes was nominated one year, he'll never be nominated again. Well, doesn't that give him license to be as anti-Semitic as he wants forever? Because you're never going to make him anti-Semite of the year again. So he's off the hook. Same thing. Candace Owens. She won last year, so now that's like what? Double jeopardy, same kind of principle, right? If she can't be charged twice, then I guess she just gets a free ride. Like, it's so stupid on its own terms. This is what I mean. They're dumb. They're stupid too. It's not just that they're like disgusting and horrible and mean-spirited. They're fucking morons. They're stupid.
Yeah, Nick Fuentes should put out a tweet that he wants to be the Hattie McDaniels of Stop Anti-Semitism. Annual award. He wants to break that ceiling.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Mazalit Erikisinen, the Israeli guy, makes a very good point, I think. I mean, you talk about an oversight. Not Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, where's Zohran? No Zohran on this list? What's that?
Yeah,
about?
That's pretty surprising.
Come on, like, that was it. So they try to clean up why they omitted Zohran. They say the incoming mayor of New York City's actions to date do not meet IHRA criteria. What the fuck does that mean? That's the International Holocaust Remembrance Association. What does that mean? I mean, that's a cop out.
What does not meet their criteria?
Of course, that's a cop out. That's an excuse. They clearly forgot.
You fart walking by a synagogue, you meet their criteria.
Exactly. You dry out the pastrami too much, you meet that criteria. If the center of the knish is cold, you meet that criteria. But no, they do not. I mean, that's a cop. They clearly forgot about Zohran. Like, that's obvious that they meant to nominate Zohran and they didn't. Now they're trying to bullshit. Oh yeah, no. No, he doesn't meet the criteria. Wow. So anyway, who are these Stop Anti-Semitism people anyway? Meet Leora Rez of Stop Anti-Semitism, failed fashion blogger in the business of creating consequences while desperate to avoid them herself. Last year, she used fake addresses in empty buildings to try and avoid a defamation lawsuit, referring, of course, oh, by the way, we should just mention, obviously a vicious racist herself, ironically. Max Blumenthal tweets out here, the demented stalker who founded Stop Anti-Semitism has deleted her entire personal account after her history of racist rants came to light and has turned her other account, Leora Rez, to private. This Adam Milstein funded psycho has harassed me for years. We'll get into a little bit of Adam Milstein later, but here she is calling Ilhan Omar, which we blacked out for obvious reasons, a variation of the N-word. So this is an anti-bigotry, an anti-racist organization that really wants to stamp out the bigoted anti-Semites, calling members of Congress the N-word. That was in 2020. But let's talk about this defamation suit. So as Stop Anti-Semitism, Leora accused a college hockey player of spray painting swastikas, but police and the rabbi from the Jewish Center debunked the claim. Rez's bogus hate symbol got the student suspended, and then he sued. So this is from the court document. The Ann Arbor police released a statement that included photographs of the graffiti. These photographs did not contain swastikas or any other indication of anti-Semitic content of any type. The Jewish Center put out a statement saying the vandalism found at the JRC was offensive and disrespectful, but did not include any overt anti-Semitic symbols like swastikas. We've been in contact with those responsible and received a private apology as well as a subsequent public apology. The public apology took place on Shabbat in front of over 350 people. We deliberately chose Shabbat for the public apology, knowing it would not be recorded and thus not contribute to further public attacks. So they actually forgive the kids and told them, yeah, you could say you're sorry on a day where nobody's allowed to bring their devices in because, we don't want to ruin your lives. They even say, a couple paragraphs down, as far as the JRC is concerned, these students aren't bad people and certainly don't need to have their lives ruined. While they made a poor choice, they sincerely apologized, and we have high confidence that they won't repeat such actions ever again. So, because of that, the student sues her for defamation and, of course, is charged to track her down. The judge didn't buy the fake addresses or the hate crimes. She ruled the defamation suit can proceed. Court is expensive, so let's follow the money. So here it is. Considerable resources in 3 different states to locate her, including retaining a private investigator and making 9 attempts to serve her. So they couldn't serve her the defamation paperwork because she's impossible to find because she uses these fake addresses. This is the shady character running Stop Anti-Semitism. Now, as for her bankroller, Adam Milstein, an ex-con convicted for felony tax evasion who funds name and shame campaigns. His strategy, put them on the run. Calling them anti-Semites is too simple. They're anti-Christian. So here's some video of Adam Milstein, one of the bankrollers of Stop Anti-Semitism.
Told Tony how critics of Israel should be handled.
First of all, investigate who they are. What's their agenda? They're picking on the Jews because it's easy, because it's popular. We need to expose what they really are. And we need to expose the fact that they're everything we believe in. And we need to put them on the run. Right now, they can do whatever they like, terrorize us, and we are...
How do we put them on the run, though?
Doing it by exposing who they are, what they are, the fact that they're racist, the fact that they're bigot, the fact that...
Oh, they're racist. Well, the woman you have running the account called Ilhan Omar the N-word. So I don't know if how anti-racist you are. It seems like this is just like a mafia-like group out to ruin people who they smear as anti-Semites for being anti-Israel.
Democracy.
Do you think there's a good role to just naming them as anti-Semites?
Not just anti-Semites, it's too simple.
Too simple.
We need to present them for what they really are. They're anti-freedom, they're anti-Christian, they're anti-democracy. That's what we need to do.
That's what we need to do. Milstein worked closely.
Find all the words that bypass people's logic and reason. Right. And tie them to those things.
Exactly. Yes. Milstein worked closely with Sheldon Adelson to build a network of 180 plus organizations, some of which, like Stop Anti-Semitism, aren't even incorporated and just hoover up money from fundraising nights Milstein hosts. Not a bad gig. Stop Anti-Semitism, run by Rez, is a well-paid cog in Milstein's machine, funded by his Morona Leadership Foundation. She pocketed over $237,000 in 2021 to 2022, making her the top earner at the charity. There she is at the Rage Against Hate conference with the 2 geniuses there, Mike Rappaport and Douglas Murray. There's also CyberWell, also funded by Milstein. This organization tracks anti-Semitic content and partners with Meta to change policies and censor speech. In its role as trusted partner of Meta, CyberWell submitted data-centered analysis on the use of Zionist as a replacement for Jew. I remember when that story broke, thinking, how'd that happen? Well, here you go. Often avoiding detection and flagging as anti-Semitic speech, according to the social media platform's digital policy and moderation resources. See, so now that Meta has recognized Zionist can be used as a euphemism for Jew, CyberWell intends to leverage its technological tools and analysis efforts to ensure this policy is implemented efficiently and fully, and that Meta's moderation tools are trained to effectively bar this content. See, so you realize, this is what I tell people all the time when you're on social media, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or anywhere, a lot of what constitutes, a guidelines violation is detected by AI. So if you tell the AI to treat the word Zionist as if it were the word Jew, then people who go out of their way to call out Zionists specifically so as not to offend all Jews still get dinged, because when you tweak the AI to say, hey, treat these two words as the same, now you have the kind of censorship that these people have been wanting to implement for a very long time, and now they have AI to help them do it. And that's what Stop Anti-Semitism is. It's not just one social media accounts. These people operate like a mafia to destroy people who say things that they don't like. And now they've set their sights on the 10 nominees this year. But you can tell how unserious they are by the fact that they don't repeat nominees, right? It's just about smearing as many people as possible, right? It's not about actually running down the list of who were the worst offenders this year. And yeah, look at that. Miss Rachel, second on the list. That is just extraordinary. It's so embarrassing. I say this as a Jewish guy. Like, that is just fucking embarrassing as a Jewish person to have an account saying Stop Anti-Semitism's finalists of the year include a woman as sweet and as benign and as uncontroversial as Miss Rachel, one of the most beloved children's creators in the country, a woman who has 17 million subscribers on YouTube alone, not to mention the Netflix deal, which gets her exposure to millions and millions more. You really think you're going to go up against her and win in the court of public opinion? I mean, this is why their reputation is, just going down the tubes.
Well, very much like RFK called Israel our aircraft carrier in the Middle East. Israel Zionists and these supposed anti-Semitism organizations are the aircraft carrier of the deep state as it currently is constituted in the United States. It is we were going to do a story today, we'll do it Thursday now, about how ICE is using the same companies, man. CyberWell, they're using these companies to start tracking protesters and prosecuting them. It just came out. A lot of these ICE agents are trained by the IDF. They are building you a digital prison. What you see in Palestine, it's the imperial boomerang. They're bringing it here. ICE is part of that. You want to stop illegal immigration? You go after the employers. Costs nothing. What would that cost? You probably wouldn't have even had to expand the agencies to do that. You would have had to just direct them to do it. What would you don't build a tens of billions of dollars of staffing, of organization, of detention facilities to go after immigrants. That's not why they did that. They did that to go after you. And the people that they're tied to are these people who own a lot of the censorship, a lot of the tracking technology, because who knows more about that than the Israelis that have been terrorizing a native population for 76 years, leveraging the funding they get from us and pouring it into surveillance and tracking technology. That's why they're so ahead in that kind of technology. That's why so many of these companies that specialize in these very Orwellian tracking companies, that's why they all come out of Israel. That's why everybody told me, be careful what VPN you use, because the Israelis have really cultivated these things with the purpose of terrorizing Palestinians and surveilling Palestinians. Now they're going to do that to you. The fact that you see that this organization is tied in to one of these monitoring and tracking companies, that is very indicative of how all of this functions. They need Israel, right, as a means of leveraging military force into a region with a lot of oil. They need the premise of anti-Semitism to leverage their interest in suppressing a population that's about to explode when they find out what AI and automation is going to do to their lives, and the fact that no one is coming to help them. They need to have a whole network of surveillance, control, suppression, imprisonment in place. They're using these anti-Semitism organizations and the claims of anti-Semitism as a pretext to help build out your digital prison and your literal prison via ICE.
Please clap.